here is my solar guitar from Ola, England. And this is the A106 with the Evertune. And I will be having Larry make me custom.
Yep. They're going to come out. They're going to come out something like this. We're going to do HB6, and we're going to do black plastic overlays. We're not going to use the wood on this guitar.
Yeah.
And actually, we're going to use some wood.
We're going to use from mines, but the other two will do black plastic.
Oh, so I'm going to build 2 sets.
2 sets, yes.
Okay.
So how would you recommend people out there to measure the spacings for you?
Well, let's talk about string spacing first of all. String spacing is the idea that the strings are a certain distance apart. Ideally, every string should be the same distance apart. You really don't want your strings, some different distance apart. You don't want to compensate for the thickness. You want to measure from the center of this string to the center of that string, or as I'll show you, from the center of the high E to the center of the low E. That's going to be the most effective. And the reason is it's the most effective is rather than measuring from string to string, is the ruler actually becomes more accurate as you use more of it. So if you use more of the ruler, on the overall, what we call overall string spacing, you'll get a better measurement. But this number that we're going to measure depends upon the width of the nut, the width of the bridge, and the bridge is more significant than the nut, but if you change your bridge, you're going to change your string spacing. So be aware that if you're thinking of upgrading your guitar to a different bridge, you should do it before you buy pickups from Aero. It also depends upon the scale length of your instrument, and it also depends upon where on the guitar the pickups are placed. As you move the pickup closer to the neck, the string spacing gets narrower. Okay, and it's the taper we're measuring. You measure the string spacing for a single coil pickup over the pole pieces of the existing pickup, but measuring the string. But on a dual coil, you measure it as a compromise between the center of, down the center line of the pickup, but between the center of the high E string to the center of the low E string. And you probably can't see because of the angle here, but this number would be 48 millimeters. Okay, and the same thing over here at the bridge. When you measure it on this particular guitar, from the center of the E to the center of the low E to the high E, it's going to be 50 millimeters. If you can see the center lines up over there and over here. And it doesn't have to be accurate to like a percentage of a millimeter. Some people use a caliper, which is fine. I'll take any number you give me. And I'll also sort of check your numbers, because some people will give me like a neck number and say, here was 48, here was 50. But they might give me that the neck is 50 and the bridge is 48, and I'll tell them, nope, can't be right. Strings don't taper downward, they taper upward. So I'll check people's work and try to get it right. And it matters a lot, because if you have the string underneath the pole piece under the center of the string, then when the string moves back and forth, it's moving over the center of that pole piece and giving a uniform peak. If you have the pole piece off to one side and the string moves this way, it's sensed over here, but then when it moves back over here, it's not sensed. So the waveform is crushed onto one side, and it causes distortion, which causes a loss of bass response. It doesn't matter so much on the high response, but on bass response. And so the strings all sound muddy. And so string spacing is one of the most important things that you can do to fix your guitar. People will say it doesn't matter. That's because they don't do it. Aero is the only company that makes exact string spacing for pole piece pickups. Other companies will claim it, but they only make it in a certain number of string spacings. We make it for any string spacing. We want it to be correct. And so, it doesn't matter to us. We're going to make the time that it takes us to make the flat work, to make the bobbins, is the same, whether it's, in this case, 48 millimeters, you divide it by the number of spaces, which is 5 on a 6-string guitar, and you would get 9.6 millimeters. That would be your string-to-string spacing for each set. And so we'd make a 9.6 millimeter string spacing here, and 50 turns out to be, again, divided by 5, would be 10 millimeter string-to-string spacing. It wouldn't matter if it was 10.1 on here, but it does matter if it's 10.5. You need it to be as close as you can get it.
So to get things clear, when people call you with their orders and their measurements, you'd like to know the scale length?
No, don't need it.
No need scale length?
Just the idea of string spacing, what happens to people is, like, for example, they'll buy a guitar, they'll change to Aero pickups after measuring the string spacing, they'll say it was really great. Then they'll get a new bridge, and the new bridge will be wider, and it'll screw up the whole thing. Some guys will change the neck and not even think that they changed the scale length, and that'll screw it up. And changing, obviously, the placement of the pickups doesn't happen very often, but some people reroute their guitars, but that's not an issue. So the nut doesn't matter so much. The placement on existing guitars doesn't matter, but the bridge is going to really affect you if you change it. So do this first, then measure and buy your pickups. And you don't have to measure everything. You just have to measure between the two high and low strings, and hope that your manufacturer of your bridge doesn't allow for some weird lateral movement. Some bridges are so cheap that this piece can move, and you get offsets that are different. You can sometimes move it back, but then you're fighting with it. The Evertune bridges are real solid. They don't really seem to move, in my experience. But
you've done a bunch of them.
Yeah, I've done. Well, I've looked at them.
You grounded a lot of them.
Yeah, I played with these things a little bit, and Jeremiah really loves this bridge. I can't make any claims to it, but this is something that he wants on every one of his guitars because of the way it keeps the guitar in tune. That's the idea. And the same thing, for a pickup. When you find something like an Aero where you can get fidelity out of it, then you want to keep it. And you can see when I'm pushing here, trying to get the pickup flat, this is going to cause some distortion in the guitar because the hum canceling pickups won't cancel correctly. So you can avoid that by various means. The HB6 allows you to do it. There are techniques for flattening it if it doesn't flatten automatically. As we talked about in the last video, the Series 13, which is just going to be this outline of a pickup, just without this route, and it'll have 4 mounting screws, 2 on each side. That'll solve the offset problem by allowing you to adjust, every which way. So.
And this is standard in any pickup that I've seen out there on any guitar.
Oh,
they all do this.
Yeah,
any company. So this is not a flaw on the guitar. This has been a simple flaw on how they made pickups from the get-go. So the HB6As, the 13 series will eliminate that problem.
And one of the things you can do is, you can see I'm folding up this piece of paper. One of the tricks that people have used over time, and these routes may be too big to do this with this piece of paper. I haven't measured it out or anything. But you can take the piece of paper. I usually use cardboard, but I'm just folding up a piece of paper, and I'm just going to shove it in there to show you that it's straight. Normally you'd slip it down the side here to straighten your pickup up, and if you have a standard pickup, that'll fix it until you can get a better pickup. So, but you really want to do that. It really improves the way the pickups hum cancel. And we're talking about what's called common mode noise that impinges on each bobbin from the same direction from the outside world, either electromotive interference, EMI, or radio frequency interference, which causes a signal in the pickups that can be canceled by the nature of the way a hum canceling pickup works. And so you want it to cancel as best as possible. The other thing you can do is, and it's pretty well done here on this guitar, is drive the screw down to the same height as the slug. That'll help, because if you have the screw up, you're sort of defeating the hum canceling of the pickup. So, but anyway, HB6, HB6A, none of those will. They're pole pieces like this. They'll be flat to begin with, and you're never going to have adjustment issues. Have never liked the adjustable pole piece. There was a point for them at one time in pickups, but those kind of guitars, and that has long since disappeared. So,
Right on there. Thank you. I just wanted everybody out there to understand what you need for them to give you the most accurate measurements possible.
Yep, that was a short story made long.
Mad scientist, man. I'm telling you, this is not just simple. He's going to break it down to exactly why you want those kind of features on a pickup. And so I love this guy, and he makes all my stuff because they're the best. They're simply the best. Thank you guys. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Aloha. Gee. That was the Willy Wonka of guitar pickups and bass pickups and amplification and chords and doo-bobs and doohickeys. And yeah, this is his massive property that has koa, ohia, all of the woods that he uses for some of his pickup covers and woods. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and check out Larry Pollock at Aero Instrument. I'll set up all the information for you guys to go bug his brain because he's very intelligent. Thank you.
Timeless into serenity. Follow me when you need someone. Please call. Please call on me when you need vision. Please never spare. Follow me when you need someone. Please call. Please call on me when you need vision. Please never spare. Never spare the pain. I'll share it all with you. All with you, never ending in forever. To space and time, let us break through this tapestry. Your heart and mine, gentle dance to this melody. Your heart and mine, gentle dance to this melody. And all this hate, take and dissolve in me. Timeless into serenity. Never ending in forever. Forgotten song buried in us. Oh, secret love waiting patiently. Light has come and darkness falls in love. All this hate I take, I dissolve in me. Never ending in forever. All this hate I take, I dissolve in me. Never ending in forever. Through space and time. Through space and time.